Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be going in depth into my must-start and must-sit running backs for week number 13. But before we could get into things, I would like to ask that if you guys are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, that you please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you do leave a like on today's video. It would help me out a ton. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do so at NotoriousFantasy. We're going to be talking about our sponsor of today's video, BetMGM, a little bit later. So without further ado, let's get into my week number 13 must start and must sit running backs. We begin with Jamal with 2A's Williams, running back of the Detroit Lions, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home in Detroit. Last week on Thanksgiving, up against the Buffalo Bills at home in Detroit, Williams was the RB number 28 in half PPR, having 18 carries for 66 yards, as well as a touchdown with one fumble loss. Now, in the last 3 weeks, Jamal Williams has scored at least one touchdown in every single game and has scored a total of 5 touchdowns. And he currently on the season, up to this point in week number 13, he has 13 total touchdowns on the season. The matchup up against the Jacksonville Jaguars is also very solid. Now, I know deep down that DeAndre Swift is still on this team, and DeAndre Swift is not going to disappear, but ultimately, until Dan Campbell instills some confidence in me that DeAndre Swift is going to be a legitimate part in this offense, is going to be a key piece in this offense like he should be, I am going to continue to roll Jamal Williams out with confidence. Because even when DeAndre Swift has the big play, gets a 30-yard rush, a 30-yard catch, and then they're knocking on the door, they're knocking on the goal line, you know what's going to happen? The team isn't just going to let DeAndre Swift score like they should. They're going to put the Vulture King Jamal Williams on the goal line, and he is going to mosey his way on into the end zone. So I am very comfortable and very confident playing Jamal Williams, even if he had a down week last week as the running back 28 in half PPR. Next up, we move to number 2, Isaiah Pacheco of the Kansas City Chiefs, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati in what is likely most people's game of the week, week 12 versus the LA Rams. Pacheco had quite the performance. RB 16 in half PPR, having 22 rushes for 69 yards. Very nice, I like, and a touchdown. 1 reception on 1 target for 17 yards. Now, he has only scored 2 total touchdowns this year, but it wouldn't shock me if this game was incredibly high scoring up against the Bengals and Pacheco was able to find the end zone at least once. Pacheco was the clear leader in the clubhouse at the running back position, having 22 of the team's 30 rushes. Without Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it is very clear that Pacheco is the number 1, the head honcho running back in this backfield. Now, they do bring in everyone's favorite running back, Melvin Gordon, the king of fumbling the fucking football, to be on this team as well. But ultimately, this is a true 1-2 punch between Pacheco and McKinnon. Pacheco's the inside, the gut rusher. He's kind of the guy they give the ball to run the ball. And then if they're going to dump the ball off, Pacheco is probably going to be out of the game and McKinnon will be in the game to catch the passes. But ultimately, I have such strong confidence in this matchup being high scoring. Thus, I think Pacheco could easily find his way into the end zone. And again, he dominated the rushes last week. 22 of the team's 30 rushes. I am fully confident in him this week up against the Cincinnati Bengals. At number 3, we have Jeff Wilson Jr., running back of the Miami Dolphins, going up against the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco this week. Last week, up against a garbage Houston Texans run defense, Jeff Wilson was only the running back number 25 on the week in half PPR, making him a humongous disappointment, having 13 carries for 39 yards and a score, as well as 1 reception on 3 targets for 13 yards. Now, he did end up getting banged up in that game. He was I assume he was cramping up a little bit. Tyreek had to kind of escort him off of the field from the ground. But ultimately here, he should be good to go in a revenge game up against the San Francisco 49ers. They have a double revenge game because Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert are on the same team, and Raheem Mostert is expected to be back in this game. And since joining the Miami Dolphins, Jeff Wilson has scored at least 1 touchdown in all of the 3 games. Now, this 49ers defense is not a cupcake matchup, right? This is going to be an incredibly tough, hard-fought game for Jeff Wilson and the rest of this Dolphins offense because the Niners rank 2nd in rush defense via DVOA. So again, I don't expect this to be some cupcake matchup where Jeff Wilson runs an absolute fucking train on the 49ers, but I do think that Mostert coming back is going to help this offense. The 1-2 punch ability is much better than having Jeff Wilson and fucking Myles Gaskin out there. So I do think Jeff Wilson bounces back. I know he kind of screwed you guys over last week, but ultimately I think he has a clear bounce back spot here. Now, before we pivot on into the must-sit running backs of the week, I would like to give you guys a quick word for our friends and our sponsor over at BetMGM. Now, if you're a brand new user to BetMGM, you're going to want to take advantage of this offer by clicking the link in the video description or in the pinned comment. Now, you don't even have to know anything about the World Cup. All you have to do is bet $10 on any World Cup game pre-game money line, and you will win $200 in free bets if a team scores a goal during the World Cup, which is guaranteed to happen. So your bet could lose, it could draw, your game could end up being an absolute snooze fest, but you are still guaranteed to get $200 in free bets because any team is guaranteed to score a goal going forward in the World Cup. So I'm going to show you how to do it real quick on the screen. You're going to sign up to BetMGM, and then you're going to go to the top of the screen where it says soccer, and then you're just going to click on whatever game you want. I'm just going to go with the biggest favorite of the day, bet $10 on them, and win $200 in free bets as long as another team scores a goal in the World Cup, which again is guaranteed to happen. And you can use these free bets not just on the World Cup. If you like the World Cup, then go right ahead, bet on some more World Cup games, but you can also bet on the NFL, NHL, NBA, college football, any sport. Just remember that your first bet, that $10 bet, has to be placed on a pre-game World Cup money line. Back on into things, we move to the must-sit running backs, beginning with A.J. Dillon of the Green Bay Packers, going up against the Chicago Bears in Chicago. Week 12 at the Philadelphia Eagles, running back 12 on the week, having 8 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown, 3 receptions on 4 targets for 24 yards. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Nick, he just had a great game. Shouldn't we ride the hot streak? And I don't think you should, because it was very evident, and it has been very evident as of recently, that this team runs through Aaron Jones. Last week in week 12, the running back snap counts for the Packers, 71% Aaron Jones, 43% A.J. Dillon. And I fully expect Aaron Jones to continue being the guy in this offense. And unless Dillon scores another fucking touchdown like he did last week, he won't be very fantasy relevant at all. So for me, it is very clear that I want to sit A.J. Dillon in this game. I'm a huge fan of Aaron Jones matchup. The Bears defense is not very good, so some people might argue, oh, Nick, there's a chance he scores because the Bears defense is so bad. Ultimately, if he doesn't score, though, he's probably going to end up scoring you 4 points, and you're going to end up feeling extremely bad. Next up, we move to Gus Bus Edwards of the Baltimore Ravens, going up against the Denver Broncos at home in Baltimore. Now, J.K. Dobbins, has been designated to return from the IR. If he ends up missing, then I would be slightly more confident in Gus. But I will note that the reason why I don't like Gus Edwards isn't completely because of the fact that J.K. Dobbins might be back. Week 12 at Jacksonville, RB 31.5 PPR, having 16 rushes for 52 yards and a touchdown, 1 target, and 1 fumble lost. The Denver defense is pretty middle of the road up against the run, ranking 17th, but I am worried that at any point in the season, any point in this game here against the Broncos, we could just see Gus Edwards be phased out. We could see a big Kenyon Drake game. We could see Lamar Jackson run in multiple touchdowns, and Gus Edwards is left shit out of luck in that scenario. And it's not like this Baltimore Ravens offense is this force to be reckoned with. Now, again, I still don't think the Ravens are a good team. I think they'll eventually figure it out. But what I'm saying here is I don't think the Ravens are just going to smack the shit out of the Broncos here. I don't think they're going to be like Will Smith slapping up Chris Rock. Like, this is going to be a game where the Ravens score 40 points. They just absolutely destroy the Broncos. I just really don't see that happening. And again, this backfield is super duper confusing game in and game out. And honestly, I just want nothing to do with it. Final running back to talk about here, Cordarrelle Patterson of the Atlanta Falcons, going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home in Atlanta. Week 12 up against the Washington Commanders in Washington. RB 32 on the week, having 11 carries for 52 yards, 3 receptions on 5 targets for 19 yards. Now, the problem with Cordarrelle Patterson is nothing to do with his skill set, because we all know that if the Atlanta Falcons push towards giving Cordarrelle Patterson a hefty workload, then we would see Cordarrelle Patterson smash game in and game out. The Falcons running back snap counts are crazy. Last week in week 12, Patterson played 58% of snaps, Algier played 39%, Keith Smith 16%, Avery Williams 12%, Caleb Huntley 5%. Do you really want to play a running back that is in this loaded of a committee up against a Pittsburgh Steelers team that with TJ Watt is significantly better? The answer is fuck no, baby. So sit Cordero Patterson this week. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below while you're down there. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Make sure you check out our sponsor, BetMGM. Again, bet $10 on any pre-game World Cup money line, and you'll receive $200 in free bets as long as a goal scored in the World Cup, which again is guaranteed to happen. I love all of you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your guys' day. See you again tomorrow with another video, and as always, good boy.